Welcome back to Wives on the Island. I'm Alyssa.
And I'm Jessica. And today we're going to catch up with each other. Then we are going to dive into 5 necessities that we feel moms should have. And then we'll wrap up with our pop culture. So, how are you doing this week?
I am good. Dropped off my son today for soccer camp, and I was so emotional about it because it's technically for rising kindergartners, but he will not be going into kindergarten because of his birthday. He missed the cutoff by one day. Here in Georgia, the cutoff is September 1st. He's a September 2nd birthday, so he has to. And I feel like his birthday being September 2nd is my personality. That's just, I have owned that. I can't have a conversation about with an older a kid who's older, their parents, or a kid who's younger, because parents tend to compare. Mm-hmm. And I'm he's actually 5, almost 5, or he's at, either he's too young or too old, depending where he falls into. In his class, he's the oldest. So right. It's I feel I have made that my personality, that my son's birthday September 2nd. So, but it was really nice. I was able to put him in this. He really does, he loves soccer, and it was just so emotional to drop him off at a place and him carrying his backpack, because at his school now they just use bags, the school bags specifically right. for the school, with his backpack that he can barely hang on to, and he's going with his soccer ball. It was literally the cutest thing. He just looked so grown up, and I know he's my child, so I'm very biased, but Jessica, I looked at this picture and I'm he is so beautiful. He is such a beautiful kid. He's one of those kids, a little heartbreaker. He's gonna be he is just so freaking cute, and it's just it's been so nice to see him grow up and be this little man,
Yeah, he is adorably cute, and I loved him. I was a little worried about you when you sent me the thing, and yeah. I was please don't tell me you're gonna sit there all day.
Oh, no.
You need to let him go.
No. I could not have my daughter there for 3 hours with us.
Yeah.
So no,
I
had to make sure I was able to leave.
I hope she leaves.
Well, I'm kind of glad not that I'm glad I stayed. He figured it out, but because they started, so it's rising kindergartners through rising 9th graders that are at this summer camp. Yeah, so it was a lot of kids, and I just wanted to make sure he was good, because it could be a little overwhelming. He goes to a smaller private school because, pre-K, kindergarten doesn't start, public right. school doesn't start till kindergarten. So I just wanted to make sure he was good. And they started separating in grades, and then I got a little nervous because I was oh my God, he knows he's not going into kindergarten next year. So
right.
If they say, if you're going into, because they did say if you're going into kindergarten, come here, and luckily he got up because he saw at the other kids, and I was oh shoot, I didn't even think to tell him go with the kindergartners, because that's what you were supposed right. to be. But he figured it out. He was so sweaty. We came home, had lunch, and I was get in the shower, because it was disgusting. He had the pit stains. I sent you the video.
I know.
I was what? 4-year-old? He's 4, though, technically.
But
so
it's hot. It's hot outside.
It was so hot.
It was so hot and so humid. So he does, he earned his little pit stains, little cutie pie. I love him so much.
It was so cute. No, he had a good time, and then today was just a chill day for him, and then tomorrow he has they have theme days for the next 3 days, because it's only Monday through Thursday, and tomorrow's neon day, so he has these neon orange shorts that he's gonna wear, and then Wednesday is your favorite sports team shirt. We don't have anything sports related, so we have a Savannah Bananas t-shirt, so he's gonna wear that.
That's good.
And and then they give him a camp t-shirt, so he will wear that on Thursday. But yeah, that's just it's just so emotional. I feel going through these things with my daughter now, it's oh my God, she's doing this, but with him it's all new because he's my first. Right. So I'm oh my gosh, I don't know this feeling yet. But it was good. And then for Father's Day, we celebrated a day early, because I bought my husband tickets to the UFC fight that was in Atlanta. We had a great time. It was so nice. My mom called me, though, the night before and was don't go into any big cities tomorrow. There's going to be all these attacks. And I'm One, like, I really don't think so. Two, like, did you even ask if I had plans? Like, I really don't go out, but like, did you ask, like, are you going out tomorrow? Because, like, now, because I was, and like, now I have a pit in my stomach about leaving, you know?
Right.
So, like, usually when we leave the kids with the babysitter, she just has our phone numbers, but I made sure I left, like, my dad's phone number just in case something were to happen. She needed to get in
Right.
touch with, like, my parents. So, we did that. Luckily everything was okay. My husband enjoyed himself. We had a great time. I will say shame on State Farm for how much they charge for literally anything. Water was $8, Jessica. $8 for a water.
It's
Didn't
disgusting.
first episode, didn't we talk about how I paid an $8 for a matcha? Okay, how is water?
Eight
Water. The
dollars.
same thing. And
Yeah.
then my husband bought a beer that was $21.
Wow.
And I was like, he's like, do you want any food? And I was like, ooh, I can kind of go for like some popcorn. Jessica, $16
No,
for popcorn. I was like, okay, not doing that.
it's crazy. That's crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
that's why I like the MB Stadium because they don't do that.
Yeah. No, no, no. That's only like the second or third thing I've ever gone to at the State Farm. And the other two events I went to, I didn't buy anything. Yeah, I will not be going back there. I didn't really like, I don't know, I don't really like the venue. And the worst thing that honestly happened was there were a bunch of guys behind me at this UFC fight and they were like drinking and there was like maybe five friends and they were drinking and just like talking shit, like, you know. And then this girl sat next to me and she was really nice. And we were just watching the fight and all of a sudden I hear some guy throwing up behind me, directly behind me. He was throwing up in his cup of that, his empty beer cup. And I literally got up so fast and moved. Thankfully, nobody was sitting like to our left. So we got up and moved. And then the girl next to me, I was like, sorry, I gotta leave you. I'm not getting throw up on me, you know? So thankfully, did not get anything on me. It didn't smell either because like they should have gotten kicked out. And then the guy like fell asleep near the end of the fight. So I was just like, this is absolutely disgusting. If like I can smell it, I may throw up.
That's gross.
But that was our night and it was good. But how was
That's
your
good.
past week been?
It was good. I didn't really do much. So you remember how I told you we were supposed to be going to Chicago this week? We are not doing that. Both of my daughters got a job.
Oh, where's your oldest one working?
So it's not officially hers, like she hasn't been officially given it, but they're having her shadow and do like some stuff. So
Okay.
it's at some pizza place. She's gonna be like a waitress at some pizza place down the street. And
That's
then
exciting.
my youngest got a job at Jersey Mike's.
I love Jersey Mike's. I had Jersey Mike's Saturday.
I do too.
Yeah.
I love their sub in a tub. So I was like super excited. I was like, yay. So she's just waiting for her. She had to send in like her birth certificate and stuff, and now she's waiting for like her paperwork so that way. But they told her that she would start once they get the paperwork from her. So she's just waiting for them to send it to her so she can start as early as Wednesday.
Oh my gosh, that's
Yeah.
exciting. So is it
So
just like a seasonal thing, like just for the summer, or can it go into like the school year?
So my oldest one is for the summer, just because
Yeah.
she'll be moving.
Yeah, that's
But my
true.
youngest one, we told her as long as she keeps her grades up, she could stay.
Okay.
And
That's
she's
exciting.
excited. Yeah, she's like super excited about it, and I'm excited because they'll both have jobs. I don't have to pay for
Yeah.
as much stuff.
Yeah.
Well, my
The
youngest
teacher
wants,
responsibility.
yeah, my youngest wants a pair of Tims. Like that's like her goal right now is to have Tims. I don't know why. I didn't know Tims were back in style. I didn't know,
Yeah, me
but
either.
that's what she wants. And my husband's like, well, I'm not buying you Tims, so you're gonna have to get a job to pay for those. So that's what we're doing.
Good. That's exciting. Yeah.
Yeah, so it kind of threw off our vacation plans, but you don't want to say, oh, you got a job, you could start next week, and then be like, I need 4 days off.
Yeah. No, I get that.
You know,
Have you been to Chicago before?
yeah, this will be our third
Okay.
time. If we went, this would be our third time.
Oh, okay. Not bad
No
then.
big deal. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I could use my vacation days for different things.
Yeah.
That's how I look at
For
it.
sure.
Especially because we were going to drive and I didn't want to drive. I don't know.
You were gonna
Yeah, I know.
drive?
Yeah. Yeah, my husband was like, we could drive this time, and it was, and
How far
so
is that ride?
he said like 9 hours, which I mean isn't that bad in the
Oh,
grand
that's
scheme
not
of things,
bad.
because that's when we go to
Yeah.
like Maryland and stuff. But I did not want to do it, so
Girl, I'm
I'm
about
kind of
to
happy.
embark on a 14-hour trip this
I know
weekend,
you
so
are. I know.
so I understand. All right, so we have our top 5 mom necessities. So it's 5 mom necessities each, so 10 things total. And I feel like mine, I don't know what yours are, but mine are a little more geared towards little children.
So some of mine are, and then some of mine aren't.
Okay, yeah. So, do you want to go first?
Sure. So my first one, I found, well, I found that it was helpful. It wasn't as helpful for me because I didn't know it was a thing until my kids were a little bit older. But I had a friend who had a younger daughter, and she had a portable potty for her daughter. And it was in the
Yes.
car with us all the time, and it had like the plastic bag with like the little like absorbent thing, so if they had to pee, it,
Yes.
it absorbed it. Let me tell you, that was the best because if we were stuck in traffic or if we were at a soccer game or anywhere, the kids didn't have to go into like a nasty public bathroom. They just
Yeah.
used that. And
No,
she used to
I love
drive
that.
like far. Yeah, she used to drive far by herself with the kids, and she was like, it's so much easier to just have them pee in that than have me take all of my children into a public restroom.
Yeah, that's so true. That's I obviously didn't have that issue with my first since he's a boy. He could just go anywhere.
Right.
But that's actually on my daughter's birthday list, so I'm glad I have that on there and I know that it will like come in handy. That's such a good one.
It is, yeah. Then I was a big proponent, and I breastfed, and then, like I pumped in so my husband could feed as well. But the boppy was like God's gift to everything. I loved a boppy. I put it in the bassinet when they were babies. I know you're not supposed to, but I did. I put to snug them a little bit more. And then I would use it when I breastfed. I just think the boppy is, and for tummy time, it was just, I think like it was so versatile. And I give it to every new mom that,
Yes.
like I love a good boppy.
I usually do that as my go-to like baby registry too. And a hack you could do is once they're a little grown out of it, or if you're traveling with it and you're going on a long distance, you could just use it as a neck pillow.
There
Because
you
I've
go.
also done that.
Yeah, I love it. So I think that it's great. Now, for the older kids, I have found Life 360. So it's not really like it's not anything tangible, but it's an app that you put on their phone and it tracks where they are. And it also will tell you if they're driving too fast, which is something I never really check where my kids are. Like, I'm not one of those parents who does like, let me check to see where they are. I told you I don't share my location. Like, I don't even share my
Yeah.
location with them. But every once in a while, I'll just, when they're driving, just to make sure that they got there safely, like I'll check. But I get a weekly report of like, this person, like with my oldest daughter, like one day it was like high speed on a 45 mile. She was doing like 62. And I'm like, ma'am, we need to bring this down.
Yeah.
So it tells you that. It also tells you if they've used their phone while they're driving, which is something that I
Ooh.
love. So I think that is like one of the best things to have. The next thing I find that I still use, and I use it even when I get sick, but the Pedialyte popsicles for stomach bugs. I don't buy them, I make them. Like if I feel like if somebody's sick, I will, I have my little popsicle makers. I'm not spending money for it to be wrapped
Yeah.
in plastic when I can do that myself.
Yeah.
But I think that they are. I even told my brother because his daughter gets the stomach bug a lot because she's just now going into daycare and that runs rampant in daycares. But I was like, you just Pedialyte popsicles. They love popsicles and it gets whatever they need in their stomach and it's just great. And my last one, I think, goes for any age. I mean, it's really, but Aquaphor for the whether it's the lotion, it's the Vaseline consistency, whatever kind of Aquaphor you can get. We use it all over. I used it for diaper rashes. My kids had eczema. I use it all the time. My kids have dry lips. It's Aquaphor, and I think that it's everywhere. I have Aquaphor. I have a car Aquaphor. I have a house Aquaphor. I think it's better
I
than
have
chapstick.
Aquaphor chapstick. I have
Yeah,
Aquaphor
I do have
chapstick.
Aquaphor chapstick.
Yeah.
Yep. It's
I
like
love
those.
Aquaphor.
Yeah, so those are like my go-to for parents.
Love that.
Yeah. What
The
about you?
Life 360 I'm definitely will be using. And just to go off on that, I'll put my number one as AirTags because I'm one of those crazy parents that has to check where their kids are. Obviously, I don't have to worry about that with my daughter. And I don't put it on my son when he is in school. I just feel like it's not necessary. But like today, with him starting soccer camp, I put one in his bag because we have two, one for my daughter, one for my son. I put one
Right.
in his book bag, and then I put one. I bought the little clips that you like put it in, and then it has a safety pin to his shorts. And I made sure
Okay.
I was like comfortable with him because for example, like once we got to the soccer field, they took him to the back of the soccer field, and it was like his first day, and I checked 3 times, but like I feel like come tomorrow I won't check as much or at all. But it's also good. We use it like if we're going to an event, like my son likes to go to Monster Jam. So when we go there, we just like slip it in his pocket just in case we ever get
Right.
separated. I mean, remember when we did our 5K and they had to announce like a child was lost and if,
Yes.
remember that? So
Yes.
like I always like to have it, obviously, and it's like honestly they're just good to like have for life. We put them in our suitcases when we went to Aruba and stuff, but I like just putting them on the kids so I know, where it is. Just an FYI though, if you're around somebody with an air tag for like an extended period of time, it does notify you that it's like
Yes.
there's a tracking device because my parents were like, we did it one time. My parents were like, what the hell is this? Are you tracking me or whatever? Like, what did you do to my phone? I said, it's for the kids. Don't worry about it. So my next one is a sound machine, a white noise machine. My kids are both using it, and my son struggled with naps so much when we first started getting him like sleep trained, and it really helps. Just like you don't have to be like super quiet. Like we have, not that we're throwing parties, but like if there's a UFC fight on, we have people over. Like I'm like, don't feel obligated to like keep your voice low. Like they will not hear you or anything like that. 4th of July, New Year's, Diwali, like all those things. It's like so nice to have because they don't wake up for the fireworks or anything. So
That's good.
yeah, if anybody has any advice as to when, like how to wean them off of a sound machine, let me know because I feel like we should do that soon.
I mean, I work with a lady who still, whenever she goes to hotels, because she travels a lot, she still she uses it on her phone. So
Yeah.
I don't think,
Yeah, it's just kind of like an inconvenience when you're traveling and stuff. And it's like, I don't want my kids to like have to like be like 15 and being like, I need a sound machine. What if they
That's
go
true,
over
yeah.
sleepovers? Well, my kids won't, but nonetheless. My next one is the baby Brezza because I unfortunately was not able to breastfeed. I produced 1 ounce a day. I pumped every 3 hours and I got 1 ounce a day. But my daughter, I got 2 ounces a day. And I was like, oh, I'm so proud of myself. But it was still not enough to feed my 10-pound babies. So I had to do the baby breast. And it's basically like a Keurig for the baby formula. And it was a
Oh, okay.
lifesaver for those night feeds. You do have to like clean it every 3 uses, but honestly, it's just so much better than having to heat up the water or like have the bottled water. It's literally like a Keurig for formula. Wonderful. And then my next one is the nose Frida. So this is, I feel like, a little controversial. Do you know what a nose Frida is?
I do, and it grosses
Okay.
me out.
But it doesn't come through. So it's like a little tube that you can suck your kids' boogers out. But it's not, there's a filter. It stops. The boogers do not go in your mouth at all.
I know they
You
don't. It just grosses me out.
Trust me, I was like that too. And my husband doesn't like to do it. So he bought like one of those electric ones and you just can't feel it. Like when you control the pressure or like the suction because you're doing it with your mouth. So you can like feel if there's any more mucus in there. With the electric one, you can't. And I feel like if you keep doing it too long, you can irritate their like sinuses and their nostrils.
Right.
So when you're in control and you can feel like what's going on, you can like get all of it out and not irritate them. So I
That makes
swear by
sense.
it, my kids are in that age where they're like constant runny noses, like runny nose central over here, like you don't even know. And I swear by that thing. I have 3 of them. I have one in my son's room, one downstairs, and then one in the guest room in case my son's asleep and I need to get it to my daughter. Love them. And then the last one is a travel stroller. I think the one I use is like a Go Pocket, and it like literally collapses to like this big. You can easily
wow.
put it in you can easily put it in a like overhead. Honestly, you can do it like underneath your seat, like in an airplane, like underneath the seat for like a personal item. It fits in there. It's so small and it's so like nice one to travel with. But even if you're going to like by us, it's like the Marietta Square, and those
Right.
restaurants are very like, tight and there's not a lot of room. And then you don't have to like carry around this bulky stroller and like leave it outside, because there's one restaurant that like they're like you can't bring strollers in. But this one, you just break it down literally to this big, and then you like put it underneath your seat or like put it next to you and you won't even know. We have 2 of them, obviously, like I said, one for my son, one for my daughter, and we haven't used my daughter like the regular stroller. The last time I used it was when I went to Disney because, But other than that, we really don't use the regular stroller anymore because they're a little older, and we'll take them to New Jersey with us. We always travel with them. I love them. They're so worth it. The only thing that stinks is they have like a not the best canopy for the sun blocking, but other than that, for like compactness, it's like, I mean, think about like a regular old umbrella stroller, like they don't have any canopy, so like
Yeah, no, not at all.
this is like a good alternative, and it breaks down to like something super small.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and those are my 5, and I swear by them, especially the nose freed. I know that gets a lot of hate because like I bought them because I saw that on somebody's registry. Like I think I was a year into dating my husband, and I was like, well, what the heck is this? And I saw the box, and I was like, that is nasty. I didn't know it stopped, though. I thought you have to stop. And I'm like, what if you don't know? But now as a
Right.
mom, like, I love it. I love, like, seeing all these things on people's registries. I'm like, you're good.
Yeah. See, I feel like I don't think that they had like the baby Brezza when I had kids. You know what I mean? Like, so when you were telling me your stuff, I was like, I don't know what half of this stuff is, but I definitely knew what the nose Frida was because we had a guy at my job who was having a baby, and we did his registry, and that was on his registry, and I ordered it, and I was like reading it, and I was like, that's disgusting.
It's so good.
But I got it for
I'm
him
not,
because it was on his registry. I didn't
Jesse,
know
I'm
that
not
it
gonna.
stopped.
Yeah, no, it stopped. It has a filter. I'm not gonna lie to you. One time, I was a little congested, and I was like, I wanted to see what it felt like, and I was like, okay, I get it. Like, it's kind of like it's like the opposite of like a neti pot.
Okay.
You know how
That's
you
cool.
like push it out? It's like you just suck it out instead.
It's probably satisfying now that I think about it.
Yeah, yeah. Because
Yeah.
sometimes I could tell, like, especially with my son, like, I mean, not to be disgusting, but when you have some stuff in your nose, like, you could, like, really blow your nose, or you could pick it out. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be doing, like, my son can't do that. He doesn't know how to do that. My daughter doesn't know how to do it. So
Right.
they see me coming with the nose breathe, and they're like, oh, but I'm like, trust me, you're gonna feel better. And then I do it, and I was like, can't you breathe better now? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, yeah, all good then. No, it's
That's all that
so
matters.
satisfying. I love it.
It's good.
So, onto pop culture.
Yes. So I just wanted to talk about my one of my favorite people, McSteamy, who is Eric Dane. For those of you who do not watch Grey's Anatomy, as a Grey's Anatomy, I would say connoisseur. I love Grey's Anatomy. I've seen it like 75 times, all of the seasons. I do have to say, while I'm ashamed, I'm still watching it. As long as
That's
it
just it.
goes, I will watch it. And it's like 20, it's on year 21 or 22, and I've been watching it for 22 years. And I want to stop. I'm going to be honest. I probably should have stopped at like season 15, but I just can't because I started
Yeah.
it and I have to finish it. So, but
Will it ever come to an end, though?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, Meredith is gone, so I feel like the Grey of Grey's
Yeah.
Anatomy is gone. So it should end. It should have ended in season 15 or 16. It could have been good, but I'm still watching it, and I will, like I said, I will continue to watch it. So
Is Patrick Dempsey still on it?
nope, he died.
Oh.
Yeah. Spoiler
And
alert
then
for those who
what's-
haven't.
And then what's her name? Katherine Heigl's not on it.
She's
Is it-
she's been gone. She's been gone.
Oh, what's her name? The redhead Addison
Nope.
is
She comes
on.
back every once in a while. We get like cameos from Addison.
Okay.
And
What about
yeah,
the
so I mean,
Asian?
it's nope. She left. She left. Sidebar. I know this is still pop culture, but I don't know if you watched it when so she played Christina Yang. Sandra Oh played Christina Yang, and she spoke at Dartmouth. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think she actually went there like for college, or maybe not, I don't know, but she was speaking at Dartmouth, and at the end of her speech, she made everybody stand up, and then they played music, and she made them dance it out, and that's what Meredith and Christina used to do. They always used to say, whenever you're having a bad day, you dance it out. And so in her thing, I was like, oh, so Christina Yang. I was so excited to see it. I was like, yay, maybe she'll come back.
Yeah.
But that's not what this is about. My pop culture topic. Feared left, but it was about Eric Dane. So a couple months ago, he was diagnosed with ALS, and he did his interview, and it was so sad because, as a lover of McSteamy and everything about him, and he married, you're probably too young for this, but he was married to the Noxzema girl, for those who are in my age range. Her name, Rebecca something, I don't remember what her last name was, but she was the Noxzema girl, and she was just the cutest thing. She had like this curly hair, and everybody wanted to look like her. She was just fresh and like, and so anyway, he married her, and they were getting divorced, and I think they're back together, or she's going to help because they have children together. She's been helping take care of him and stuff like that. But it was so sad to just kind of watch his interview, because he was talking about how, it took 9 months for them to diagnose his ALS. I don't know. It's a nerve condition, so I don't know if there's medicine that, even if they found it 9 months ago, he would be in a better place. Like, I don't know anything about that.
Yeah.
But 9 months of not knowing what's going on would just freak me out. He said he was like losing weakness in his hands and like just all this stuff. And right now, he said he's lost all mobility in his right. I don't know if it's his right side or if it's just his right hand. And he said he feels like his left hand is going. And it was just so sad. And he was talking about how his dad died when he was young, and the saddest part for him is knowing that he's probably going to pass while his kids are young, and that's not something he wanted for his kids. It was so heartbreaking, but he was showing like, he's like, I'm gonna fight it. I'm gonna just do as long as I can and be with my family, and even still continue to do some work. But it just broke my heart, because like I said,
It's
that's
so
my McSteamy.
heartbreaking.
And he looks so good.
Yeah.
Even now, with his like gray hair. He's all gray now. And I watch Bad Boys 4, 3, I don't know, whichever one he's in. I've watched it like 4 times just because he's in it. And I just love him so much.
That's so funny.
I mean, I thought it was a good movie too, but Eric Dane's in it. So I was like, yes.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That is
so
so
I just pray
sad.
for him, and I hope that, I mean, because Lou Gehrig's disease is just so sad, and it's so rough, and it takes you so fast. And the thing that I think that is scary the most that they said was, even though like you can't like move your body and your nerves don't work, but your mental health is still like, you're still 100%. Like you don't stop, like your mind doesn't stop working. It's just your
Yeah.
mind can't control your hands. You can't speak after a while. So I feel like it's like you're trapped in your body. Like you
Yeah.
understand everything, you could hear everything, you know what people are saying to you, and maybe with your eyes you could talk to them, but once you lose your voice, you can no longer speak to them. And that, to me, would be the scariest thing, I think.
Yeah. That's so
You know,
terrifying.
so
Yeah.
sad. And like I said, prayers go out to him and his family, because that's rough.
Yeah, diseases like that are so scary. I don't even know if I told you that. Like, my mom has multiple sclerosis, and she
Yes.
was diagnosed at 29, and at like now she's 48, and she's basically wheelchair bound, and it it's definitely like, sometimes mother daughter conflict. I try to, we get on each other's nerves, but sometimes I like really commend her on being so positive sometimes in her mindset, because she is wheelchair bound. She's not able to do anything on her own, and she kind of just will stay home, and all she has is her thoughts, or seeing things that are on the news, and she's not like, in her mind, and she's like, was so independent. And I'm sure, like with Eric Dane, you're a celebrity, you're doing all these things, you're in control of how you want to live, and then it's
Right.
like taken away from you. You can't even like use the bathroom on your own anymore, or like just get a minute to like do something yourself, even though if you want to, because you want to have that independence and you start to feel like a burden to people. So it's really heartbreaking. So hopefully, I don't know, I don't know if they have medicine either, but hopefully he's able to like maybe physical therapy just to keep like him strong and things like that, or like, muscle memory is very a thing. It's a thing.
Yeah. I just, like I said, I pray that, it's not as fast as it, I mean, I know it's a fast disease, but I just hope it slows down for him so that he could spend time with his kids and stuff.
Yeah, so definitely prayers go out to him and his family. Sad. So my topic is about the Call Her Alex documentary, and it's about the Call Her Daddy host, Alex Cooper. She did a documentary on her life. I didn't watch it, but there's so much on like TikTok and Instagram, because the biggest story, honestly, like obviously she talks about her whole thing of like Barstool, because she hosted the podcast with a friend, Sophia, and they had a big falling out over like money and contracts with Barstool, this and that. Alex stayed, she did not, Sophia didn't. But a really good, not really good, a big takeaway from this documentary was that she was sexually harassed by her soccer coach at Boston University. She played D1 soccer, and she had 3 years of sexual harassment from this coach, and her mom kind of was like, wait, what's happening? And she wrote everything down that Alex would tell her for 3 years. And then finally, when it got too much, they went to the administration or the dean's office, whoever, and they told them what happened. Mom had the book and was like, you can read it. They never opened it, at least not in front of them. And they were like, well, what do you want? Basically, we'll just pay you out kind of deal. And they didn't want any money or whatever. Alex was just like, I want to play on the team, but not for her. And they were like, well, we're not firing her.
Oh, wow.
So they didn't have her back at all. And she ended up not playing soccer her last year, which is so crazy, because if she was that good, I mean, even if she wasn't that good at that young, she could have trained to be an Olympian or something, you know, and because of this woman, it has, just down the drain. I mean, thankfully she's very successful now, but a lot of women now who also went to Boston University are speaking out about they were also sexually harassed by this coach, and they're
what was she doing? Because I've heard it, but what was the sexual harassment like? What was she doing?
She kept asking them very personal questions, and was oh, what about your tell me about your sex life. And there was one time where Alex was I don't want to talk to you about this, because she was dating some guy. She's I don't want to talk to you about it, and she benched her this whole game because she said no. And she was and then at the end, all of her teammates were put Alex in, we need to get Alex in here, and they finally did, and she ended up scoring the game-winning goal. And she wouldn't, they did a post-game interview, and she wouldn't even say Alex's name. That was the reason why they won or anything, but she would always want to just spend time on her, and she would kind of put her hand on her, kind of to make somebody feel uncomfortable, hand on her thigh, kind of that, touching ways a 50-year-old woman should not be touching a college student,
right?
You know. So it was because I was wait, is this sexual assaulted or sexual, what does she mean? So then I had to look into it a little more, and it was just calling all the time, just to talk, and yeah, it was just very weird things. And yeah, so it's looking back, I'm sure she's whatever, this is my story, it's such a dark time, but look where I am now. But there's so many people that this happens to, that that don't get the great story at the end like this, and it kind of ruins their whole life. And it's just such a shame that a college, especially BU is a huge school,
it is,
that they don't back their students like that. It's insane. But I saw another TikTok too, where this girl went to BU during the time Call Her Daddy really took off, and BU did not acknowledge the fact that she was an alumni from there.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so they kind of just X'd her out. Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, I definitely want to watch the whole thing because obviously, I like listen to Chicks in the Office from Barstool, so I'm like in the Barstool world a little bit. So I'm like curious. I mean, I remember when that whole thing happened with Dave and Sophia and stuff like that, but I mean, I wouldn't mind like hearing about it again, so I think I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the end of the day, though, such a horrible thing to happen to her, and it's a shame, like I said, that Boston University didn't back student, and obviously it wasn't just her, so students, plural.
Right. Multiple.
Yeah, but you know, I'm not the biggest fan of Alex Cooper. I mean, of the podcast or the way she, I don't know, there's something about her that like just doesn't sit well with me. But yeah, but I'm glad that, she's doing well, clear, so what does my opinion matter? People like her.
Right.
So, but yeah, it was very interesting to hear because I will give her like kudos. Like, she really doesn't make this like her personality that she was sexually harassed and how
Right.
like, I knew she played soccer, but like, that's like nothing compared to what she's doing now, you know?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, I don't listen to her, so
I listen to her in interviews. That's it.
yeah.
The ones
Nope.
I care about.
Every once in a while, yeah. If I see something, like I'll look at like the
Yeah.
snippets, but I've never like listened to her fully. So,
Yeah.
and I'm not a fan of anything that comes out of Barstool. So,
Really? I like Chicks in
yeah.
the Office. They're so
Uh,
non-Barstool, like,
yeah. I don't like Dave
related.
Portnoy. I am not a
Yeah,
fan
I
of
could
him.
definitely see.
He
He's like a
rubs me the
man
wrong way.
child.
So, yeah, and I don't like that. So I'm like,
Yeah.
nah.
No, I totally get
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. But
I could
but
see.
yeah, no, I had heard stories about it when she talked about it because so who was it? I think it was Dave Portnoy came on and talked about how like she came back to Barstool like to do the documentary and he was like being
Yeah.
just a dick about it and I was like, ugh. And then I saw clips about the harassment, but I didn't know. So when they were like she was sexually harassed by her coach, I didn't know it was a woman. Until you said
Yeah.
it, I was like, oh, there we go, a man coach doing it again.
Oh
But I
no.
didn't know it was a woman.
Yeah. Yeah. Which I feel like is a little harder to kind of like, I feel like it went on for so long, probably because
Because it
it
was a
was a
woman.
woman. Yeah, where you're kind of like, well, she's just trying to like befriend me, kind of, it's like a blurry line at that point. Like, it's very
Right.
clear when like a man harasses you, you know?
Right.
So yeah, that was interesting. I did see somebody talk about Alex Cooper going to Barstool too, and they were like, yeah, she came up to me all like chummy chummy,
Yeah, and
and
she's never spoken to me in my life.
yeah,
And
like never spoken to me the whole time. Apparently, they didn't even go into the office. They would just like record in her apartment. Like, they didn't have to do anything like that the other employees had to do. But I mean, I did see a clip that Dave Portnoy said that he was going to give them more money because during COVID they had such like a downtick because there were no sports. There was like nothing to talk about in regards to that. But
right.
they were talking about things that like, aren't hand in hand in the world.
Right.
So what the revenue that they brought in were paying for Barstool employees' salaries because they were bringing in
Oh
so
wow.
much money. Yeah, so they were making a lot of money from them and then paying them only like what, 70 grand a year. It's crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess it all worked out in the end for her.
It did.
And now she's
Yeah.
married,
Yeah. I
living
mean,
life.
kudos to her. Yep.
Absolutely.
Girl power.
That's funny.
You
But
know,
yeah.
you like
Yeah,
I
that
just
was,
like seeing people succeed. You know what I mean? When they
of
overcome
course.
stuff like that. People succeeding is really, really what you want to see.
Absolutely. That was a nice and short, sweet episode. What do
It
you have
really
going
was.
on? Because we will be taking a week off. The week of 4th of July, we'll be not putting out an episode. My daughter's birthday is actually the 3rd, and she's going to be 2, and I cannot believe I'm going to have a 2-year-old. Like, I'm done having kids, so it's like so crazy that
So it's
I have
the
no more
last two.
babies. Yeah, we have no more babies. We're done. And because her birthday is the day before the 4th of July, we're not doing like a party or anything. We're just gonna, do some family stuff. But we're gonna have like a red, white, and two themed
Oh, that's
day.
too cute. I
Yeah.
love that.
So, Yeah, so I'm
Red,
excited.
white,
We're
and
gonna
two.
just
I love
red,
that.
white, and two, and we're going to the Jersey Shore this weekend actually. So we're
Oh,
gonna do like a little photo shoot on the beach, for her. And I'm so excited because I got the cutest little dress and
you
a
got
little
little
blue
outfits.
bow.
I love it.
Yeah, yes, I'm so
And she's not gonna.
excited.
She's gonna wear the bow for like 2 seconds and then take it
I
off.
know, I know. She's such a little with that. She wanted me. She found one of her little elastics and she handed it in. She's like, hair up, and I was like, oh yeah, I'll put it up, and I put it up like with her little thing that her little like my dad calls her pebbles. But then we got to the soccer field to pick up my son, and it was kind of like coming out right here. So I was like, oh, let me take it out and refix it. And then she was like, no, no, no. And I'm like, oh, let me just fix it. Like, because then it sticks up without the,
Right.
without the
Right.
thing. And I'm like, now you look
Yeah.
like a chicken, So I was like, let me put it up. And she didn't want it. So I just kept like flattening it out. So it stayed down. But yeah, I'm
Right.
hoping she likes the little thing up and she like loves the water so much. So I'm hoping like the beach and the sand and all that will like kind of distract her from the fact that there will be a bow
She
in
has
her
a bow
hair.
on her head.
Yeah, so and it's a little one. It's not nothing big. So, but I'm so excited to like celebrate her. I cannot believe she's gonna be 2.
No, that's crazy.
Yeah,
I remember when you were pregnant with her.
I know it feels like a fever dream. Honestly, like wild. Like I don't even remember that time, and it's so
We
sad because
don't.
she was such a difficult baby her first year of life. Like she's got, I mean, she's still a little difficult, but like the 1 to 2 has been so much better for us than the 0 to 1 with her. So I'm really excited for 2 to 3. I feel like it can only get better. While my son 0 to 1 was phenomenal, so amazing, the best experience ever, and I was so excited to do it again. And then when I had her and it wasn't what I expected, like I was very upset about it. And I wish me now could go back and just enjoy her and not
Right.
compare it to what I had with my son. So like I always try to tell myself that now moving forward because she just has a totally different
She's
personality,
different.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
like even though my son was like it was so nice and easy and we had so much fun together, she is such a like a little spitfire that it gives a little like spice to all the things we do with her. So it's like just a
Yeah.
different thing. And she's a
Yeah.
girl, so
I
she's
think
into different things.
right. I think that's the hardest thing though when you have kids is just not comparing them to the child, the
Yeah.
first child. That's like the hardest thing. I mean, like you said, you try to embrace what they have and,
Yeah.
their differences, but sometimes it's like, because that's
Like,
how,
why can't you be more like,
right. Yeah. And you don't ever want to do that.
yeah,
Because it's funny, because like with my oldest, she's like a rule follower. She's independent. She just does everything that she's supposed to do, and she procrastinates a little bit. But then I have my younger one who's all over the place, and she's funny, and she's just. But I always say like they're two different people, and I
yeah,
try very hard never to compare them. But it's funny because I'm always like, my oldest one is book smart, and I don't say she lacks common sense because she doesn't, but I worry about her because I think
her
she's too nice.
her
And I think that
naiveness or
naivete, is
yeah,
that what it's called? Naivete?
yeah. I didn't
Yeah.
want to say,
Yeah. Yeah. Like there's nothing wrong with her, but I just think because she's so sweet and she's so nice that she doesn't see faults in people. Whereas like my
yeah.
younger one is like, I don't know who
Everybody's
you think you
sus.
are. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
No. And so I always try to remind myself like they're two different people and they have different strengths and different weaknesses like you said, it's sometimes super hard to compare. Like it's
yeah,
hard to not compare, I mean, because you're like, come on, especially when they're
yeah,
younger and one hit milestones at one age and the other one didn't hit the milestones at that age, but they even
sure.
out at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, my son was walking. It actually came up on my memories. He started walking when he was 9 months and 10 days old. And then my
Oh,
daughter
wow.
was almost closer to 14 months.
Yeah.
So,
It's just,
it,
yeah. And there's nothing wrong with them.
no.
It's just they move at their own pace. That kids do it when they need to do it.
Yeah. And like my son, he rolled over for the first time at 3 months. My daughter was 4. So, like that whole month, I'm like, oh my God, when are you going to roll over? What's wrong with you? Like just all, like, my son is just like just a little more advanced in those things, which, but meanwhile, if you ask, like, I mean, granted, it's a little better now that he's in school, but he would use a pen or pencil like this,
Right.
Meanwhile, my 1-year-old is like, like holding it like
Yeah.
perfect. And I'm like, what the heck? It's like one's holding it like a caveman and one's looking like she's signing the Declaration of Independence. Like it was amazing to me. I was shocked. I was like, oh my
Yeah.
God, she's amazing. So I could definitely tell that just like your oldest, more kind of like the academic angle, and then I could see like my daughter is like more on the creative, like
Yeah.
she's more creative than the academic stuff.
Yep. Yep.
And
And
it is
it's
what it
just
is.
it is what it is. I mean, and like I said, they even out as they get older, and then they just have different strengths and weaknesses. I mean, like you said, my oldest is extremely academically gifted, and my younger one is academically gifted as well. She just doesn't apply it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
she's a smart, sharp cookie, but she doesn't apply it, and that's just who she is. So you just kind of have to
Yeah.
roll with it. You know.
Yeah. Are you doing anything for the 4th of July? Or like during the next week or
I
two?
don't know. God knows. Who knows? I have no idea, to be honest with you. I don't know what's
Well,
happening.
now that your kids are working, I mean,
Right? Yeah. I mean, my daughter, is it next week? It is. It's not next week, the week after she turns 18. So, we'll probably do something for her for that. And then, we'll see. I don't know.
just
With them
chilling.
working, we might, maybe just, they might have to work and my husband and I might go watch the fireworks. Who knows? We don't know.
Yeah.
We'll just
Yeah.
see how that goes.
Well, that's exciting. But yeah, that is our episode. And like I said, we'll be off the week of 4th of July. And we are excited to see you next time.
Okay, bye.